Hello lovely people, this is Milena, and today we're going to talk about something that occupies our mind more often than we would like to admit. And it's also a major deciding factor when it comes to our words, actions, what we choose to do, not do, say, or not say. Now, if I asked you the question directly, do you care what people think about you? Most of us will probably say, no, not particularly. I mean, maybe a small group of people, but not people in general. But if we start digging deeper and asking deeper questions, does it matter how many people liked your post, or if somebody commented on how you did at work, how you did your presentation, or your looks, or your weight, or other things like that? We do feel an effect. We do feel hurt sometimes, or angry, or we get righteous and say, how dare they, and things like that. I haven't really met a person who cares none whatsoever about what others think of them. I haven't really met a person who has zero attachment to what others think of them. Now, I usually don't like to go into the reasons why we feel a certain way or pay attention to something, but in this case, I think it would be beneficial. One of our biggest fears as human beings, along with the fear of death and the fear of physical or maybe emotional suffering, is the fear of being alone. And we want to do whatever it takes to ensure that we don't end up alone. Why is that the case? Well, research has shown that human beings, especially our physical bodies, don't do so well when they're in solitary confinement for extended periods of time. And you don't have to be imprisoned. You simply need to be removed or disconnected from other human beings. And that has a negative effect on our physical bodies, on our emotional state, on our mental state, basically on all levels. We are social beings and we are meant to be together, physically together as well. And when we're not, we don't do so well. Because of that, we would like to stock up to be safe. We would like to stock up on acquaintances and friends and people who like us because we're thinking quantity. Because we think that the more people like us, the less likely we are to end up alone. But research has also shown that what we actually crave are deep, close, meaningful relationships. And we cannot have those with a large number of people. I mean, let's say you had about 100 friends. Would you physically be able to dedicate that much time and energy on all of them to create these relationships? No, you would probably have these close, deep, meaningful relationships with a handful of people. Now, how do you select those people? Because you want them to be the right ones. And what does that mean? It's people who resonate with you, who have similar interests or values or things that they like to do, people who understand you, who can listen to you without judgment, or people who feel safe around you or like to do the same things, you name it. Now, how do we find these people? And then the second belief that we have is that we are truly our authentic version of ourselves. We're open and honest with everything that's true about us, that people won't like us. Why do we believe that? I mean, do we dislike ourselves so much to think that others won't like us either? I don't know who it was who said that if everybody likes you, you're most definitely doing something wrong. If you do want to be charismatic, there is a place for all these tools, and they're really, really, really good. Because we go to job interviews and we go to first dates and we meet somebody for the first time. And we do want to create that positive impressions because more research shows that we actually have that first impression, that idea in our head within the first few seconds of meeting someone. And I'm sure that you've read and you've heard some of those tools. That is smiling, making eye contact, having a healthy dose of gestures with the hands, having an open body language facing the person that you talk to, asking deep, meaningful questions as opposed to trivial ones, and also making sure that we don't badmouth anybody in front of that person, especially when we meet someone for the first time. These are excellent tools, and there's definitely a place for them in your life. But when it comes to those deeper relationships and friendships that we would like to create, we can't keep on doing that forever because we want to talk about things that we're also interested in. We want to know that the people that we're creating these relationships with are actually creating them with us, the true, authentic version of who we are. Now, very often, because of that fear of judgment and all of that, we stop ourselves from doing things that we like to do. I love to dance, for example, but I can't tell you how many years I didn't really allow myself, or I was super self-conscious to get up and dance. And there was a person, it was kind of a famous actor that I met at a party once, and he came in, invited me to dance, and he said, Milena, I can see that you want to dance, but you're not allowing yourself to, and I want to tell you a story. A few months ago, I was in a car accident, and everybody else in the car died. I was the only one who made it. And that just made me think that life is short, and if we want to do something, we need to do it and not worry about what others are going to think, because we never know. Here's another story. There's this little girl who's the daughter of a very, very dear friend of mine, and we were at the birthday party, and she really wanted to dance. So she went to her daddy, and she kept begging him to get up and dance with her. Now, I know that he does that at home with her, but because there were many people around and he was embarrassed and worried about what others are going to think about him, he refused, knowing that his little girl was going to be extremely disappointed. How much are we willing to compromise with the things that we want to do? The more I allowed myself to be my authentic self, to express, to talk about things that are interesting to me, even being open about my weaknesses and shortcomings and vulnerabilities, actually made more people feel attracted to me, wanting to talk to me, or wanting to be in my company. Although the fear is actually that the opposite will happen. And if you need more help establishing that strong core and giving yourself permission to be yourself, or more help establishing these deep, meaningful relationships, book a session at askmilena.com. Subscribe for my newsletter to receive the ebook 7 Life Hacks to Empower Your Daily Life, which are tools very similar to this one. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and if you click on the bell, you'll get notified of all future videos, which usually come out on Friday. Be yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.